Sit back and enjoy an hour of fascinating facts you didn't know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. Lake Superior, part of the Great Lakes, is shared by Canada and the United States. In Michigan, phenomena known as ice shoves have been recorded. These occur when the wind and waves push blocks of floating ice towards the coast. As they accumulate, the blocks push each other and advance onto dry land. Although they are called ice tsunamis, they are not tsunamis in the technical sense. The phenomenon has been registered in several areas of the northern United States. This is the most isolated house in the world. It is located in an archipelago south of Iceland called Vestmann, dozens of kilometers from the nearest town. On the internet, all kinds of rumors have been created about it and why it was built so far away. Some said that it belonged to a billionaire who came here to escape civilization and enjoy solitude, but none of that is true. In reality, it is a cabin used as a sauna and cellar by the Association of Bird Hunters of Iceland. That is the little that is known about it. The gaboon viper, scientific name Betis gabonica, is native to Central and Western Africa. It is known for having the longest fangs among venomous snakes, up to 5 centimeters in length. Its venom is potent and can be lethal, although it rarely attacks humans. It has a robust body and a very effective camouflage pattern. It lives in humid jungles and wooded areas. The Singi Stone Forest is in the Meliki region, west of Madagascar. It is part of the Bemaraha Reserve and has been a World Heritage Site since 1990. It is composed of extremely sharp limestone rock pinnacles. These formations originated from the erosion of rainwater over millions of years. The name Tsingy means where you cannot walk in Malagasy. Lemurs and other endemic species live in this ecosystem. It is one of the most unique landscapes in the world. Do you know why astronaut suits are white? This is because white is the color that best reflects light. This protects astronauts against solar radiation, and white is also very distinguishable in the darkness of space. The only time they use another color is when they are returning to Earth. These suits were designed to attract the attention of rescuers on Earth in case something went wrong. The orange suits are equipped with reserves of water, medicine, and air to save the astronauts in case of an emergency. There is a mountain of common table salt in Germany that is the surplus of the chemical company K+S. It measures 250 meters and contains around 200 million tons of salt. They affectionately call it Mount Kali or Kilimanjaro, referring to the highest point in Africa, Kilimanjaro. It is considered a source of pollution for the region, but the company has a permit to dump salt there until the year 2030. The plastic that contains water does not melt because the liquid dissipates the heat before the material reaches its melting point. Water has a high capacity to absorb thermal energy without its temperature rapidly increasing. When heated, the heat is first transferred to the water, which distributes it and keeps it below the critical threshold. Plastics such as polypropylene or polyethylene melt at more than 200 degrees Celsius. This was the first car to exceed 100 kilometers per hour. It achieved this on April 29, 1889. In an emergency, you can use your pants as a life jacket. If you find yourself in a difficult situation and do not have a life jacket, simply take off your pants and tie a strong knot at the ends of the legs. Make sure the pants are buttoned and zipped up. Then try to inflate it by quickly submerging it in water to trap as much air as possible inside. Then tie it around your neck and repeat the process each time it deflates. The inhabitants of the Australian region of Gippsland have been surprised by large blankets of spiderwebs covering the meadows and hanging from the branches of trees. It is a surprising phenomenon, very common after floods. Experts say these veils are created using a survival technique known as spider ballooning, in which spiders cast silk to climb to higher ground. Meet the Crotalaria cunninghami, also known as the green hummingbird flower. It is a perennial shrub that grows up to approximately 1 to 3 meters tall. It has hairy branches and dull green foliage. The flower looks a lot like a hummingbird that is attached by its beak to the central stem of the flower head. The student Nika uses an arm prosthesis called Esper Hand, created by the Ukrainian company Esper Bionics. This device uses myoelectric sensors that detect muscle activity to control movement. It is linked to an application that allows you to adjust functions and train personalized gestures. With the prosthesis, Nika can perform tasks such as eating, picking up small objects, opening wrappers, and brushing her hair. It is a prominent advance in functional bionic technology. Meet the alien hand syndrome. It is a condition that makes a person feel that they do not control the movements of one of their hands. Some patients believe that their strange hand is possessed because it is capable of performing acts such as unbuttoning their shirt without them being aware of it. This rare condition is due to damage to the cerebral cortex that can be produced by tumors or blows. Currently, there is no treatment, but one way to control it is to occupy the strange hand with some task, such as holding an object. This is one of the smallest chessboards in the world. It measures 2.5 by 2.5 centimeters. The best thing is that you can take it everywhere, as it is a ring. Observe how the pieces are stored inside. It was made by Joe Turner. The Chinese Long March 5B rocket re-entered uncontrollably on July 30, 2022. It was launched to place a module of the Tiangong space station. Videos of the re-entry were recorded from Indonesia, Malaysia, and possibly Singapore. Most of the rocket disintegrated in the atmosphere. The remains fell into the Indian Ocean, near the Maldives. These were the drones of the past. In 1907, Julius Neubronner, a German pharmacist, equipped his carrier pigeons with a reinforced aluminum harness, which held a small wooden camera weighing between 30 and 70 grams. A pneumatic system in the camera controlled the time delay before the image was taken. These are some of his famous photographs. When the video shows trees that seem to move due to the effect of the wind and the saturation of the soil. It was recorded in the United States, possibly in Texas. In areas with heavy rains or floods, the ground can become unstable. Excessive humidity erodes the soil and weakens the roots. This causes some trees to lean or move. The older a chicken is, the lighter colored eggs it lays. As chickens age, their eggs are larger, but the amount of pigment deposited on the shell is the same, which gives the impression that they lose coloration. You have most likely seen a manta ray before, but did you know that this is what its skeleton looks like? Despite looking like this, manta rays do not have a single bone in their entire body. What you are seeing is a series of cartilages connected to each other, which allows them to have enormous flexibility to move on the water and even fly over it. A $100,000 bill existed. It was created in the year 1934 by the United States, and 42,000 bills were printed that were used solely for transactions between state banks. It has the image of Woodrow Wilson printed on it, and it is still legal. But since 1960, none have been seen in circulation. Most were destroyed by the government itself when bank transfers emerged. The Ice Angel was recorded on Lake New Buffalo, Michigan, United States. The figure went viral for its shape that resembles an angel with wings. It is believed to have formed on a structure such as a pole or log at the end of the pier. The moisture in the environment accumulated on the surface and froze in stages. Against the light, an opaque shape is noticed in the center. There is no evidence of human intervention in its creation. It is a natural phenomenon caused by extreme cold and specific conditions. The Arecibo message is a radio message that was sent to the M13 star cluster in 1974 in order to inform the universe that there is intelligent life on Earth. It was designed by Frank Drake and Carl Sagan. In it are the numbers from 1 to 10, the atomic numbers of several elements, the formulas of the sugars and bases in the DNA nucleotides, the figure of a human being and their height, the population of the Earth at that time and the solar system. Meet the ring made with human nails. It was created by the Japanese Kiwami Japan, who collected his nail clippings for a year to turn them into this very unusual piece. Have you ever seen an animated tattoo? Phil Burge tattooed an animation frame by frame on 76 people. Observe the result. Before refrigerators existed, Russians and Finns kept milk fresh with frogs. What they did was put brown frogs in the milk containers. The secretions produced by this frog basically act as antibiotics, killing bacteria and keeping the milk fresh and safe to drink. Meet Johanna Quass, the longest-lived gymnast in the world. She started competing in Germany when she was 9 years old and never stopped practicing. This woman could not participate in the Olympic Games due to the consequences of the World War. But in the year 2012, her time to shine came when the Guinness Book of Records named her the oldest gymnast in the world at 89 years old. This nomination made her jump to fame, and although she is now over 90 years old, she has not stopped performing. A fascinating and rare meteorological phenomenon is what mammatus clouds, also known as mammotocumulus clouds, create. They have a unique bag-like appearance that hangs below other clouds. This formation resembles inverted sacs and appears to be swollen. Although these clouds are often associated with severe storms, they are not necessarily indicative of dangerous weather. The term mama comes from Latin and means breast-shaped, due to its resemblance to hanging breasts. The ghost ant can be easily recognized by its dark brown head in contrast to its translucent abdomen. Here you can see how they drink fresh water with food coloring and color themselves inside. A large Starbucks coffee has the same amount of caffeine as 4 cans of Red Bull, and in general, all energy drinks have less caffeine than coffee. What you are seeing is a machine designed to make you taller. It was created in the year 1931 and promised its users to increase their height by up to 10 centimeters if they used it every day. Believe it or not, this is not the only machine of its kind. This other machine promised to give you defined abs without the need to exercise or eat well. Over time, it was discovered that these machines do absolutely nothing. Observe the incredible amount of water that gushes from this tree. The inside of the tree rotted and the water rose through the hollow trunk. Spiders do not have muscles in their legs. Unlike mammals and other animals that have muscles in their limbs, spiders use a hydraulic system to move their legs, which allows them to move quickly and agilely. Drivers in Siberia have to know how to skid. Observe how they drive on the city's icy streets without any problems. In Finland, bumper cars are more like calm cars. No spectacular crashes. Here the cars move in the same lane in the same direction and at a low speed. And if someone decides to crash into another vehicle, goodbye to the game. They prefer to keep everything safe, although to be honest, it can be a bit boring. This is what happens to aluminum when it is hit by a 14-gram piece of plastic traveling at 24,000 kilometers per hour in space. The province of Alberta in Canada is free of rats. This has been possible thanks to great pest control and a policy that prohibits having them as pets. Incredibly, Alberta is similar in size to France, however, you can only see 1 or 2 rats a month that arrive in cargo shipments from other cities. Google Maps cars take hundreds of photographs of the world's streets so you can view them from your computer or phone. What happens if a car cannot reach a certain place like a desert? Google has the solution: camels. They are equipped with 360-degree cameras that capture these incredible images so you can see them from the other side of the world. From the Mi Teleférico system, which connects La Paz with El Alto, steep areas such as those near Villa Dolores can be seen. Some users have informally called them an abyss or ravine, although it is not an official name. The slope is not completely vertical, but it is steep. The area shows signs of urban vulnerability. The views from the houses reflect the complex geography of the area. More than 120 Australian animals are in danger of extinction due to feral cats. It is estimated that there are 20 million of these cats in Australia and they kill many species of amphibians every day. Lions do not roar until they are 1 year old. Despite their reputation as great predators, lion cubs cannot roar until they are approximately 1 year old. During their first months, lions make soft growls and meows, but they develop their full roar as they grow. This insect is the bagworm caterpillar. This caterpillar uses small branches or rocks to form a protective sac in which it takes refuge. It's like a house that it carries everywhere, which it builds itself. This bag helps them protect themselves from both the weather and predators. This image of an exhibition in a museum shows us the ancestors of elephants and how they changed over time to be as we know them today. A man had hiccups for 69 years. Charles Osborne of Iowa, United States, had a hiccup attack in 1922 and could not get rid of it until 68 years later, in February of 1990. During the first decades, Osborne had 40 hiccups per minute, but then it was reduced to 20 per minute in the last year. Flying snakes belong to the genus Chrysopelia and live in Asia. They are found in countries like India, Indonesia, and New Guinea. They launch themselves from trees and glide in the air. They use undulating movements and expand their body to catch the air. Drones can facilitate and help us in many ways in our daily lives. If you don't believe it, see how this drone is used to make a simple light bulb change. The Luyang Lake Forest is in Yangzhou, China, and was created as part of a reforestation project. Meta-sequoias were planted, a native species considered a living fossil. The forest is artificial and partially submerged. The water is covered with a green layer caused by duckweed. This aquatic plant forms a dense, shiny surface. Did you know that making your bed can affect your health? When we cover the place where we lie with sheets and blankets, we give mites an ideal place to live and reproduce. Not making the bed can be beneficial, as fresh air and sunlight kill them. This is how coral catfish avoid being eaten. They huddle together and form a kind of ball. This confuses predators. In the Fairview Lawn Cemetery in Scotland is the tombstone of a Titanic victim named J. Dawson. If you saw the movie from 1998, you will probably think it is Jack Dawson, but it is not. In reality, he was a 23-year-old man named Joseph Dawson, who who worked on the ship carrying coal to the furnace workers. Unfortunately, he could not survive this tragedy, and his body was recovered and buried in this place. To date, Mansa Musa, king of the Mali Empire during the 14th century, is considered the richest person in all of history. When his territory extended over a large part of Western Africa, Mali's wealth was based on its trade in gold and salt, very valuable goods at that time. He was known for his opulence and generosity, as he gave away jewelry and other gifts. Although the exact figure of his wealth is not known for sure, it is estimated to be $400 billion, far exceeding the fortune obtained by any other human being. In the 1980s, the naval forces of Sweden detected sounds that they suspected were hostile submarines from the Soviet Union, something that was causing diplomatic conflicts, until they realized that the sounds actually came from the gases released by the fish that lived in the area. The funniest thing of all is that this research won a Nobel Prize. The Amazon pink dolphin changes color with age. Also known as a boto, it is born with a gray coloration, but as it ages, its skin turns a pinkish tone. This transformation is unique among dolphins, and its vibrant color becomes more intense during social interaction, which could be a form of communication. Hyperion is the tallest known tree in the world, with a height of 115.85 meters, and belongs to the redwood species. It is located in Redwood National Park in California, United States, and was discovered in the year 2006 by naturalists who were exploring the area. Redwoods dominate the list of the tallest trees on record. There are historical reports of Australian eucalyptus trees that would have reached more than 130 meters, but these figures are not verifiable with modern methods. For now, Hyperion remains the tallest tree measured with scientific precision. The fascinating art of butter sculpture, which originated in the Middle Ages in Europe, began as an art form practiced by monks who used butter to create elaborate religious pieces during festivities. Today, it has become a popular form of culinary art at fairs and special events around the world. Many people do not know about yellow whales. Beaked whales, or Cuvier's beaked whale, can grow up to 6 meters in length. They are the whales that dive the deepest, up to 3 kilometers deep. Their coloration is caused by an infestation of microscopic algae. Shadow drawing is an artistic technique created by the Belgian cartoonist Vincent Bal. It consists of observing the shadows that everyday objects project and using them as a base for creative illustrations. The artist draws on the shadow, transforming it into ingenious scenes, characters, or situations. His style combines humor, simplicity, and visual play. This technique has gained popularity on social media and in exhibitions. The Bagger 288 is the heaviest vehicle in the world. This gigantic excavator weighs 1,500 tons. To move all this weight without damaging the surface or sinking, 12 heavy tracks were designed, each 3.8 meters wide, which allows it to move at a speed of between 0.1 and 0.6 kilometers per hour. To operate this monster, only 5 people are needed, but it can function well with only 3. Meet the Luna moth, one of the most exotic in the world. Its name is due to the circular spots on its wings. It usually has a wingspan of approximately 14 centimeters, but some specimens have exceeded 17 centimeters in their measurements. It is one of the largest moths in North America. This species only lives for a few days when it becomes an adult, but it has enough time to find a mate and reproduce. In addition, it is nocturnal. When a plastic bottle filled with air is submerged in water, the pressure increases with depth. This compresses the air inside the bottle, reducing its volume and modifying its buoyancy. When it reemerges, the pressure decreases and the air expands, recovering its original shape. This phenomenon is explained by Boyle's law, which relates pressure and volume in gases. The greater the depth, the greater the air compression. The bottle acts as a clear example of how volume varies with pressure. Tibetan sand mandalas are works of art that are generally created to promote healing, peace, and purification, as well as to stimulate spiritual or psychological concentration, especially in those who create and contemplate them. The mandala, which in Sanskrit means circle, is a geometric figure that represents the universe, and the sand mandala that is destroyed after it is completed highlights the transient nature of everything that exists in the cosmos. Breathing through your mouth can have negative consequences for your health, such as dry mouth, which increases the risk of cavities and gum disease. In addition, the air that enters through the mouth is not filtered correctly, which can increase the risk of respiratory infections and allergies. Breathing through the nose is the healthiest way to do it, because the nose filters the air, heats it, and humidifies it. In addition, it reduces the symptoms of asthma, among other things. Bubble soccer was created in Norway in the year 2011 by Henrik Elvestad and Johan Golden as part of a humorous program. It consists of playing soccer using inflatable bubbles that cover the torso, allowing pushes between players. Although it follows similar rules to soccer, physical contact is part of the game. There are variants such as bubble soccer on ice and bubble soccer rodeo. These versions are less common and are not formally regulated. This is the machine that was used to write music before the invention of computers. Here you can see it in action. It was patented in 1936 and was used to create the scores that were used in orchestras to interpret any musical piece. This was necessary because before these machines, they depended on the writing skills of the composers to create them. This is an example of a score written by Beethoven. For this reason, they were so necessary. Meet the Harbin Ice and Snow Festival that takes place every year since 1965. The goal is to create the most impressive structures possible using only ice and snow. Every January 5th in China, this festival is celebrated and lasts a whole month. Participants use all kinds of tools to cut huge blocks of ice that they use to create these impressive structures. At the end of the festival, winners are chosen in the different categories and an impressive light show is held. The pirangi tree is a cashew tree located in Pirangi do Norte, Brazil, near the city of Natal. It is considered the largest of its species in the world, with an area of about 8,500 square meters. Although it looks like a forest, it is a single tree. Its expansion is due to a genetic mutation. The branches that touch the ground generate new roots. It is estimated that it was planted in 1888. It is a tourist attraction due to its size and unusual shape. Its growth is still active and controlled by specialists. This sponge is 6,000 years old, making it the oldest animal in the world, and it looks very different from the sponges we know. It belongs to the species of glass sponges and lives in the deepest waters of the Antarctic. These sponges age at an extremely slow rate due to the low temperatures of the waters where they are found, where they can live for thousands of years. This specimen is 2 meters high and was found in the Ross Sea at only 50 meters deep. Meet these impressive paper creations that apparently look normal, but if you take them and stretch them, they look like giant accordions. The person responsible for making this beautiful art is the Beijing sculptor, Li Hongbo, who is inspired by both traditional Chinese folklore and his years as a student. His technique also captures traditional Chinese ornaments made by gluing layers of paper. In addition, he applies a honeycomb structure to create incredibly flexible sculptures. Mosul is a mountainous city in the province of Gilan, Iran, with stepped architecture. The roofs of the lower houses function as streets and patios for the upper ones. For this reason, car traffic is not allowed in the city. Most of the buildings have 2 floors. They are made with traditional materials such as adobe, wood, and rods. Mosul is recognized for its unique design and cultural value. This is the tallest and largest pyramid of coins that has been built. It had 1 million coins and a height of more than 1 meter. Camels are native to North America and not Africa. It is very common to associate these animals with African landscapes, but they originally appeared in what is now North America about 40 million years ago. From here, they migrated to other places, became extinct on this side of the world, but prospered on the other. The time-lapse video shows stars orbiting Sagittarius A, the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way. It was captured by the ESO's Very Large Telescope in Chile. The observations were made for almost 20 years. They allowed the orbits of several nearby stars to be traced. Every year on the frozen lake of St. Moritz, Switzerland, the white turf is celebrated, a series of horse races on ice. This exclusive event attracts international visitors and combines sport, art, and entertainment in a spectacular winter setting. Seals close their nostrils to prevent water from entering their lungs and to be able to submerge. They do this unconsciously, just as humans breathe automatically. In addition to closing their nostrils, seals have a high concentration of myoglobin in their blood, which allows them to dive to great depths, since they can reach up to 600 meters and stay underwater for more than an hour without breathing. The Bosco Verticale is in Milan, Italy, and consists of 2 residential towers. It houses some 800 trees, 5,000 shrubs, and 15,000 plants. Its vegetation is equivalent to about 20,000 square meters of green areas. It was designed by the architect, Stefano Borri. The irrigation system uses recycled water from the building. It is a prominent example of urban ecological architecture. Can you imagine what a whole town inside a volcano would be like? Well, it exists, and it is the town of Aogashima, located inside an active volcano on a small island in Japan. Although living there seems very dangerous, the last eruption occurred more than 230 years ago. That is what keeps its 170 inhabitants calm, who do not plan to abandon their home for any reason. The death apple is considered the most lethal tree in the world. It is found in tropical coastal areas of Central America and the Caribbean. Although it looks harmless, all parts of the tree are extremely lethal. Simple contact with the sap or the tree itself can cause severe skin burns. Even inhaling smoke produced by burning the wood can be dangerous. In some areas where this tree grows, warning signs are placed to keep people away from it. For some reason, in certain species of trees, the treetops grow without ever touching. This phenomenon is known as crown shyness or botanical shyness. This creates spaces between the trees that resemble geometric figures and that allow the trees to develop without affecting others. The actress Kate Winslet broke the record for the longest time recording underwater doing a scene for Avatar 2. Winslet held her breath for more than 7 minutes, surpassing the 6 minutes that Tom Cruise had reached while filming the movie Mission: Impossible – Rogue Nation. Every year at Disney parks, the Festival of the Arts is held, where one of its activities consists of painting a group painting. Each person is given a number and a little paint. They just paint their square, and that's it. This is the final result. The blue whale, the largest animal in the world, can consume the same amount of calories in a single bite as an average human eats in 180 days. The United States, Myanmar, and Liberia are the only countries that do not use the standard metric system of measurement. These 3 countries use the British imperial system of inches and pounds. The giraffe has the largest heart of all terrestrial mammals. A giraffe's heart can weigh up to 11 kilograms and measure approximately 60 centimeters in length. This massive organ is necessary to pump blood through the giraffe's long neck and limbs to its head, which can be up to 5 meters above the heart. Meet Flingbot, a catapult robot whose only function is to throw paint onto a canvas and in this way create abstract and colorful paintings. The wolverine is one of the most ferocious and territorial mammals, despite its not-so-large appearance. Also known as a carcajou, it is a medium-sized carnivore similar to a small bear. This animal is a relentless and brave predator, with great strength and ability to hunt animals much larger than itself, such as reindeer and caribou. Its powerful jaw and sharp fangs allow it to tear the flesh of its prey with ease. The bullet train between Xi'an and Chengdu in China was inaugurated in 2017. It crosses mountainous terrain, especially the Qinling mountain range. More than 90% of the route is elevated or underground. The construction seeks to overcome natural obstacles and avoid level crossings. This improves safety and reduces urban impact. Believe it or not, a 9-year-old British girl managed to cross Turkish customs with a unicorn passport. Her name is Emily, and she had created a passport for her stuffed animal, but she accidentally ended up identifying with it when her mother mistakenly handed it in at the airport. Although the passport didn't even look real, the staff didn't notice and stamped the document full of drawings and with a photo of the toy. The funniest thing is that the stuffed animal was not even on the trip. This zipper-shaped boat seems to open the water as it sails. It was designed in Japan by Yasuhiro Suzuki, who was inspired during a trip he had on an airplane as he observed a boat sailing, and as it passed, it gave the illusion that it was opening the water. Since then, he set out to create a boat that could produce that effect, but in a much more realistic way, thus designing the Zipper Fastener Ship, the world's first zipper-shaped boat, presented at the Design Art Tokyo 2020 event. OpenDrop is a digital microfluidics platform developed by the Swiss engineer Urs Gaudenz. It uses electrowetting technology to move drops of liquid over a surface. The system can be controlled digitally or with a joystick. It is an open project and still in the experimental phase. It has potential applications in digital biology and laboratory automation. This is the blue-ringed octopus, and it is the 4th most venomous animal in the world. A dose of its venom is capable of killing 26 people in a matter of minutes. Although it is only the size of a golf ball, it is extremely dangerous. There is currently no antidote for its toxin. The only known way to survive one of its attacks is to place the person on a ventilator and wait for the effects to dissipate. This is China's gate to heaven, Tianmen Mountain, a natural wonder 131 meters high and more than a millennium old. The arch is already considered a sacred element, since according to legend, it is the place where the gods meet the mortal world. Lake Kayindi is in the Tian Shan Mountains, southeast of Kazakhstan. It was formed in 1911 after an earthquake caused a landslide. The collapse blocked a stream and created a natural dam. This flooded a fir forest, whose dry trunks emerge from the water. The bases of the trees remain submerged. The landscape is known for its surreal appearance. Meet Sergei Krikalev, the cosmonaut who was supposed to remain in space on a mission that would last 150 days. But due to political complications in his country, he could not return to Earth, so he spent a total of 311 days in orbit. At that time, he set a world record for the time he spent in space. His experience is an example of how events on Earth can affect space missions, and more specifically, astronauts. Meet Peter Jean Hernandez. You probably don't find it familiar, but that's the real name of the artist Bruno Mars. His stage name is a nickname his father gave him because he believed his son looked a lot like Bruno Sammartino, a professional wrestler, and Mars comes from the fact of being from another world, that is, from Mars. Or at least that's what he says. These reading chairs were used in the 17th century, long before electricity was discovered. A book was placed on one arm and the candle on the other to be able to read comfortably at night. Meet the concrete plastering machine, also known as a concrete launcher. It is a compressor that helps you apply concrete to various difficult-to-work surfaces. It is used in construction to flatten or place concrete on all types of surfaces in order to speed up construction processes, reducing the waste of material that can be generated when doing this manually. This is what the equipment looks like at some of the outdoor gyms assembled and manufactured by the Finnish brand OmniGym. The brand has 170 facilities in Finland and a presence in countries such as Sweden, Norway, as well as Estonia, Spain, and the Netherlands. This is a cuttlefish with 3D glasses. This was part of an experiment in which they tried to study if these animals had developed a visual capacity that allows them to recognize the depth and distance of objects. Putting on the glasses was not easy, but the result of the tests carried out with 3D shrimp showed that this mollusk has a much more similar vision to that of humans than that of octopuses and squid. Before the offer reached Keanu Reeves to play Neo in The Matrix, first-rate actors like Will Smith, Brad Pitt, Denzel Washington, and Nicolas Cage rejected this role. Will Smith rejected it to star in Wild Wild West, which he considers one of the biggest mistakes in his career. A scientific investigation on the space station revealed that spiders can weave webs in conditions of microgravity. The only thing they need to continue weaving is light. This element provides a location reference that is sufficient for them to replace gravity. The experiment was demonstrated with two spiders that, to the surprise of the researchers, managed to make better fabrics than on Earth, demonstrating the little importance that gravity has for these animals when they weave their webs. The basilisk is a lizard native to Central and South America, with a confirmed presence in countries such as Costa Rica, Panama, and Colombia. It is known for its ability to run on water for a few seconds. This capacity is due to its speed and to lobes on its hind legs that increase the support surface. After a few seconds, the basilisk sinks due to loss of momentum. It is a notable example of physical adaptation. Elephants think we humans are adorable, but it's really mutual. This was discovered by psychologist Julia Haas, who said that a part of the brains of these intelligent animals lights up when they see us, generating a very similar effect to what we feel when we see a small puppy. Despite being located near the equator in Tanzania, Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro has glaciers on its highest peaks. However, these glaciers have been reduced significantly in size in recent decades due to climate change and are expected to disappear completely in the near future. The dragonfly goes through 3 stages: egg, nymph, and adult. Most of its life occurs in the aquatic nymph phase. This stage can last from months to more than 4 years, depending on the species. Upon reaching adulthood, it develops wings and lives between 1 and 2 months. In this phase, it is mainly dedicated to reproduction. These are the most expensive shoes in the world. They cost almost $20 million. The heels are made of solid gold and are inlaid with 30 carats of diamonds. In addition, they have a small meteorite discovered in Argentina in 1576 inside. Its creator is an Italian designer named Antonio Vietri, and he exhibited them on a yacht in Dubai during Fashion Week in the year 2019. Butterflies cannot fly if they are cold because they are ectothermic organisms, that is, cold-blooded, which means that they depend on external heat to move. They need temperatures above 27 degrees Celsius to fly. If it is too cold, they remain motionless until the sun heats them up enough to beat their wings. This delicate balance with temperature is vital for their survival. This time-lapse video shows the Earth seen from the Moon, based on NASA data. It was created by the scientist James O'Donoghue through computer simulations. The Moon rotates on its axis in approximately 27 Earth days. That is why we always see the same face from Earth. The so-called dark side is not always in shadow. It is illuminated when the Moon is located between the Earth and the Sun. This occurs during the new moon phase. What you are seeing is not a camera trick, it is a material so light that you can place it on top of a flower with ease without damaging it. It is graphene aerogel, the lightest man-made material. It weighs only 0.16 milligrams for every cubic centimeter of volume it possesses, almost as light as the oxygen we breathe. It is so light that if we extract all the oxygen trapped inside the structure, it would float without any problem. Meet the curious bald uakari, a primate with a striking appearance. It is a small variety. Its specimens are usually about 60 centimeters long, and, as its name indicates, the head of this animal is bald. In addition, it has a strange reddish coloration. This monkey has gregarious habits and can form groups of up to 100 individuals. It inhabits the treetops of the swampy areas of the Amazon in Brazil, Peru, and Colombia. Unfortunately, it is in danger of extinction. The frozen forest of Lake Foss Point is in Louisiana, United States. It is a swampy area where it is normally hot. In February of 2021, an unusual cold wave covered the cypress trees with ice. The landscape became surreal and was widely documented. This type of freezing is rare in the region. At the Orlando International Airport, Florida, there is a hyper-realistic sculpture called The Traveler. This work of art is the creation of the artist Dwayne Hansen and has captivated travelers for more than 37 years. The statue represents a tired traveler with an expression on his face so real that it seems like he is about to speak. These tunnels were dug by a giant ground sloth that lived 10,000 years ago in Brazil. Here you can see the marks of its claws. The dead forest of Deadvalley is in the Namib Desert, southwest of Namibia. It was formed about 600 years ago when the Sachab River flooded a clay plain. In that environment, acacias grew that later died when the water flow was blocked by the dunes. The dry climate prevented their decomposition. The blackened trunks still stand. Although they are not petrified, they seem frozen in time. The electric catfish of South America can generate electric shocks of up to 350 volts to incapacitate its prey and defend itself from predators. It belongs to the Melapterourus family. Meet Mimi Choi, the Vancouver-based makeup artist who uses her face as a canvas for her creations, which are fascinating for the optical illusions she reproduces. Her makeups range from the reproduction of famous classical paintings to surrealism. The Canadian manages to make her head a slice, her forehead a piece of cake, erase her nose and turn it into the vortex of a black hole. There are no limits to Choi's talent. This is one of the richest restaurants in the world. It is located in Florida, and it is estimated that its walls are lined with more than $1 million in $1 bills. It is McGuire's Irish Pub, where it is customary for customers to leave a signed dollar and stick it on the wall after each meal. As you can see, this has been happening for a very, very long time, and this custom has made the place an attraction for tourists, so more and more people want to visit it. Recent research suggests that octopuses may experience something similar to REM sleep phases in humans. During these periods, octopuses change color and move their tentacles, which indicates that they may be dreaming. Cells are capable of solving mazes much better than humans. They are very efficient at finding the exits, but we should not be surprised because they live inside our vessels and are used to navigating through intricate structures of the human body. This feat is possible thanks to chemotaxis, a system of chemical signals that helps them see their environment and thus be able to predict the correct route. In Canada is the Kluane Icefield, one of the largest ice fields in the world outside of the polar regions. The Kluane Icefield is a vast expanse of ice and snow that extends across the Yukon Territory in Canada, with an area of more than 22,000 square kilometers. This icefield is an impressive natural wonder. In Western Australia, dolphins have been recorded surfing waves on beaches such as Esperance and Margaret River. This behavior occurs spontaneously and is usually interpreted as play or socialization. Dolphins glide along the waves, sometimes close to surfers. 2,000 years ago, this loaf of bread was going to be someone's food, until Mount Vesuvius erupted and buried the entire city of Pompeii. Fireworks are something that most people like, but do you know how those striking colors are achieved in the sky? The different colors of fireworks are due to the presence of different chemical compounds. For example, strontium produces the red color, Copper generates blue, barium creates green, yellow is achieved with sodium, and white is the result of the mixture of several elements, including magnesium. In Yeppoon, Queensland, Australia, the company Surf Lakes built a wave-generating machine in an artificial lake. It uses a 1,400-ton piston that creates concentric waves. It can produce up to 2,400 waves per hour. The waves reach heights of up to 2.4 meters. The system allows different types of waves to be created for surfers of all levels. The project seeks to expand to other countries with a demand for surfing. The Trovent stones, also known as living stones, are rock formations found in the town of Costești in Romania. They grow slowly, at about 4 or 5 centimeters every 1,000 years. Their growth is due to the absorption of rainwater rich in calcium carbonate that presses on the outer layers of the stone and creates protuberances. They originated about 6 million years ago when the region was part of a sedimentary basin. Kangaroos, known for their peculiar way of moving, have a unique characteristic. They cannot move their hind legs independently, which makes them unable to walk backwards. This is a smart pot. Its name is Lua, and it helps you take care of your plants through an application for your phone, which tells you if they need water, sun, or shade. And it does it in a very fun way. Look at all the gestures it can make. It is as if your plant were talking to you directly. At the Manchester Arena, United Kingdom, a strength competition known as Car Walk was held. The Polish Mateusz Kieliszkowski loaded a motorless vehicle designed to simulate the weight of a real car. In the same event, the Ukrainian Oleksiy Novikov also lifted a similar car. Both are considered among the strongest men in the world. The test consists of walking while carrying the structure on your shoulders. The event was part of the Giants Live World Tour in 2019. It is an extreme demonstration of physical power and endurance. Mustard is one of the oldest spices in the world. It has been used as a condiment for more than 5,000 years. The ancient Romans were the first to combine mustard seeds with wine or vinegar to make a paste similar to modern mustard, which accompanied meat and fish at their banquets. Meet the Chocolate Hills in the Philippines. These unusual geological formations on the island of Bohol are named for their resemblance to piles of chocolate, especially during the dry season when the vegetation that covers them turns brown. The more than 1,200 symmetrical hills extend over an area of more than 50 square kilometers and are one of the main tourist attractions of the island. A group of firefighters in Shanghai, China, was recorded performing a synchronized rope training. In the exercise, 8 firefighters run in a row and jump while 2 turn the rope. The activity requires coordination, rhythm, and physical endurance. The training seeks to improve reflexes, teamwork, and physical condition. In the early morning of November 20, 1980, Lake Panier became the scene of an unprecedented geological disaster. Located in Louisiana, this small, shallow freshwater lake was calm under a cloudy sky. However, that tranquility would be fleeting. Texaco Oil Company, in its search for oil, had made a fatal mistake. An incorrect measurement that placed its drilling directly over a salt mine, creating a vortex that sucked in everything in its path. As if someone had pulled the plug on a giant bathtub, the lake began to drain, and in 3 hours the lake had been transformed into an abyss more than 300 meters deep. In Detroit, United States, the country's first electrified road has been implemented that can wirelessly charge electric vehicles while they are driving or parked. The company responsible for this technology is Electrion, which uses inductive copper charging coils installed under the street, which allows vehicles equipped with receivers to charge. The 1/4-mile section will function as a first pilot for future tests, since at the moment its use is exclusive to public service buses. A water bubble on the ceiling is formed by the accumulation of liquid due to a leak or filtration. The water gets trapped when the ceiling is coated with a waterproof layer, such as ceiling paint or a plastic membrane. This layer prevents moisture from evaporating or seeping out. Magnetic resonance imaging of the orbits allows the visualization and study of the structures inside the eye. This is what it looks like when we scratch ourselves. They are the Ainu, an indigenous population that inhabits Russia and Japan. Men stop shaving when they reach a certain age, so the oldest men have large beards and mustaches. This is why when they eat, they use chopsticks and some utensils that serve to move their facial hair. Women tattoo their mouths, arms, and other parts of their bodies when they begin puberty. However, in Japan, this practice has been prohibited. Recorded in Alaska, United States, this was a tsunami created by the detachment of a giant glacier. It is actually known as a sweep wave, but it is the same principle as a tsunami. Have you ever been in the trouble of running out of toilet paper in the bathroom? Well, this little robot is the answer to your problems. Developed by Procter & Gamble, this robot comes to your aid when you run out of toilet paper while you are in the bathroom. It's called Charmin Robot, and its technology allows it to identify where you keep the toilet paper to bring it to the bathroom. The first successful flight of a powered aircraft was made by the Wright brothers on December 17, 1903 in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. This is how astronauts see Earth. This video is a fragment that NASA showed about a tour of the International Space Station. It is an incredible view from the station's cupola. In Russia, an athlete lifts weights underwater as part of a physical training. The water above him does not directly add to the weight lifted, since the hydrostatic thrust reduces the apparent effort. Buoyancy depends on the volume displaced and not on the water that covers it. The most expensive car in the world is the Bugatti La Voiture Noire, which sold for more than $18 million in 2019. This unique car is a masterpiece of engineering and luxury design. This is the world's first stand-up roller coaster. In SeaWorld, the amusement park and zoo in Orlando, is the world's first stand-up roller coaster, where the most daring people seem to be surfing a wave. Lake Moke is located near Queenstown in the Otago region, New Zealand. It is known for its peaceful landscapes and clear skies, ideal for astronomical observation. Time-lapse images of the Milky Way have been captured from this place. In 1960, the tire brand Goodyear was about to launch luminous tires on the market. Unfortunately, they had to abandon the idea as they caused distractions and accidents to other drivers. The venom of the black widow spider is 15 times more potent than that of a rattlesnake, but the amount of venom injected is much smaller. Symptoms usually appear at least 30 minutes later and can be mild or severe. This is a video that shows us how the plastic on the cap separates when opening sodas. I'm sure you had never seen it from this angle. This you see here is your epiglottis, a cartilage located in the throat, behind the tongue and in front of the larynx, which prevents food and liquids from reaching the lungs. It closes when we swallow. A hot air balloon flying upside down was recorded in Las Vegas as part of a visual trick. Although it seems to have the basket at the top, it is actually designed with a false structure. The real basket is hidden at the bottom, allowing normal flight. The design seeks to attract attention through optical illusion. Originally, the Back to the Future time machine was going to be a refrigerator. The DeLorean was not part of the original script. The magic was going to happen when Marty McFly got into a refrigerator to protect himself from a nuclear explosion. That strange idea was replaced with the car because the director Steven Spielberg considered that the children who would see the movie would try to do it and possibly would have been locked in their refrigerators. It is believed that the celestial bodies observed in the famous photograph, the Pillars of Creation, in reality no longer exist since 6,000 years ago. This is because you can see that they are approaching a cloud of stellar dust, and since they are 7,000 light-years away, what we are seeing has already happened a long time ago. The Stairway to Heaven in Hawaii, known as the Haiku Stairs, is a steep hike with almost 4,000 steps that lead to one of the most impressive views on the island of Oahu. Although access is currently restricted, it remains an iconic symbol of adventure and natural beauty. Eltz Castle is located in Rhineland-Palatinate, Germany, and was built in the 12th century. It has belonged to the Eltz family for more than 850 years. It is estimated that it has passed through about 33 generations. The castle retains its original medieval structure. Today, it is open to tourism with tours of its historical rooms. It is still owned by descendants of the founding family. It is one of the best preserved castles in Germany. There is a pancake race that takes place annually in the city of Olney in England. It consists of running with a pancake in a pan and flipping it during the 380-meter race without dropping it. Zebras sleep standing up to avoid predators. They can sleep while standing thanks to a special structure in their legs that allows them to lock their joints. This gives them the ability to react quickly to an attack from a predator, reducing the time it would take them to get up from the ground. This is the most powerful telescope ever built. It was created with the aim of expanding knowledge about the origins of our universe. It has a foldable design like a kind of origami. In Magallanes, Chile, a herding of up to 30,000 sheep crossing a highway was recorded. In the world there are about 1 billion sheep and more than 8 billion humans. This is equivalent to 1 sheep for every 8 people. The countries with the most sheep are China, India, Australia, Iran, Nigeria, and Chad. Russia and Argentina have smaller numbers. In some countries there are more sheep than inhabitants, such as New Zealand, Mongolia, Iceland, Mauritania, and Uruguay. It is a common phenomenon in livestock regions with low population density. NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory is a training center located in Houston, Texas, where astronauts prepare for space missions. This laboratory has a 12-meter deep training pool that is similar in size to a football field. It is basically a replica of the International Space Station underwater, used so that future astronauts can control and experience what it is like to be in zero gravity. The world's largest wooden wind turbine is easier to build and provides light to 400 homes. The Swedish startup MOD is betting on wood to build wind turbines more cheaply and quickly anywhere. If you mail a wedding invitation to Mickey and Minnie Mouse, you will receive an autographed photo and a newlywed pin in return. Located majestically in the Caucasus region of Russia, Mount Elbrus stands as the highest mountain in Europe with an imposing altitude of around more than 5 kilometers above sea level. Do you know how many different chess games are possible to play? It is a number known as the Shannon number, which is calculated as 10 raised to the 120th power. To give you an idea, there are more possible chess games than atoms in the universe. That's thanks to the enormous number of moves and possibilities that this game offers. The Splinter sports car was created by the American designer Joe Harmon. It is fully functional and is built mostly with wood. It includes body, chassis, suspension, rims, and interior made of this material. The project was inspired by the Havilland Mosquito airplane of the Second World War. It was developed as a postgraduate work in North Carolina. Sloths can submerge for up to 40 minutes at a time. That's because they can reduce their heart rate to consume less oxygen and thus last much longer underwater. In addition, they move 3 times faster when they are swimming than when they are walking. In Lake Baikal, Russia, a phenomenon informally known as the breathing of Baikal has been recorded. It occurs in early spring, when the ice begins to melt. The wind generates undulations on the frozen surface, which seems to move like water. The layer of ice is thick but partially melted, which gives it flexibility. There is no official name or detailed studies on its structure. It is believed to be formed by sections connected by thinner ice. This is Gibraltar Airport, and it is one of the most dangerous airports in the world. The reason for this is that the runway of this airport passes in the middle of a very busy highway. Airport security is responsible for stopping traffic when a plane is about to land to prevent huge accidents from occurring. Even so, this airport is recognized as one of the most dangerous in the world. The video shows a line of lights in the sky of Colombia. These are Starlink satellites from the American company SpaceX. These satellites are part of a constellation to offer broadband internet. The service seeks to cover remote areas with low connectivity. After their launch, the satellites travel in visible formation for several days. The Titanic ship will disappear from the seabed in less than 30 years. This is due to the fact that the famous ship is 3.8 kilometers deep, where temperatures are very cold. It is found with marine currents and is also full of bacteria that are devouring all parts of the ship. Currently, there are even parts and pieces that have completely disappeared. There is a town in India called Kongthong, where people's names are a song. When a baby is born in this town, the mother composes a melody and lyrics that will be the child's name for the rest of their life. The locals claim that it is a tradition that has existed for centuries and that it is an expression of maternal love. In a school in Quebec, Canada, bicycle desks are used for hyperactive children. They allow them to pedal while attending class. The initiative was promoted by the teacher, Mario Leroux. It seeks to channel energy without resorting to medication. According to specialists, exercise improves concentration and cognitive skills. It has been well received by teachers and health professionals. Thalassophobia is the intense fear of the ocean. Those who suffer from it experience symptoms such as tachycardia, sweating, catastrophic thoughts, lack of control over their own movements, and a great sense of danger. The discomfort must symbolize a deterioration in the quality of life of people for it to be considered a phobia. Although to a certain extent, almost everyone has a level of thalassophobia, since it is quite common to feel fear of not knowing what is beneath us in the water. Near the city of Cleveland is the Tunnel of Love, a stretch of train tracks surrounded by green arches formed by trees. It is a popular place among couples, and it is said that wishes of love come true if you walk through it. On Venus, a day lasts longer than a year. This is due to its peculiar spin on itself and its proximity to the sun. A day on Earth is 24 hours because that is how long our world takes to rotate on itself. However, it takes Venus 243 Earth days to rotate on its own axis, and it takes 225 Earth days to rotate around the sun, while our planet takes 365 days. The Infinity Wall is located in the lobby of Nexon University in Seoul, South Korea. It is a digital installation created by the South Korean company District. It consists of an LED screen 30 meters wide by 7 meters high. Its design combines visual narratives, real-time data, and atmospheric effects. The objective is to communicate the values of the company, Nexon Tire. This vehicle has a strange jet thruster integrated into its rear. This one-of-a-kind Volkswagen Beetle was created in the year 2000 by mechanical engineer Ron Patrick. It retains its internal combustion engine, but also has a thruster originally designed for helicopters in the part where the seat should go. It can be driven like a normal car, but when its additional engine is turned on, it adds 1,350 horsepower to the ride. This amazing car is currently valued at $50,000. Thanks to this video filmed by Richard Albrecht, we can see more closely how the common mosquito or trumpet mosquito lays its eggs. It's kind of disgusting but very neat and satisfying. The Puerto Princesa Underground River in the Philippines is one of the longest navigable underground rivers in the world, with a length of 8.2 kilometers. Visitors can explore its impressive limestone caves and stalactites on a boat ride, marveling at this unique natural phenomenon. The so-called white ice forests can be formed by frost or rime. Frost appears when water vapor freezes on cold surfaces. It occurs in conditions of high humidity and sub-zero temperatures. Rime is formed when freezing fog freezes on contact. Both phenomena create white and crystalline landscapes. They are natural effects that beautify forests in winter. Pigs cannot sweat. Although the phrase sweating like a pig is used, pigs actually do not have functional sweat glands. To cool down, pigs seek mud or water, which helps them regulate their body temperature and avoid overheating. Bees have two stomachs. A bee has one stomach for digestion and another for storing nectar, which allows it to transport large amounts of nectar to the hive. In the hive, this nectar is transformed into honey by the evaporation of water and the action of enzymes. This is how sitting volleyball is played. This is a variant of volleyball for disabled athletes. In this version, the net is placed at a lower height. When a baby is born, its body contains approximately 300 bones. As the years go by, these end up fusing to form the skeleton that will have a total of 206 bones in an adult person. Meet the Eurasian wryneck. This bird has a curious defense method, and that is that when it feels threatened, it shrinks its neck and moves its head from side to side with its feathers bristling, imitating the movement of a snake. The Avenue of the Baobabs is in the Manab region, west of Madagascar. It is located between the towns of Morondava and Bologna Tsiribihina. The trees belong to the species Adansonia grandidieri, endemic to the island. They reach heights of up to 30 meters. Some specimens are more than 800 years old. It is one of the most iconic landscapes of Madagascar. These small sculptures were created by the artist Zero White with the golden wrapper of Ferrero Rocher chocolates. This is an underwater tent with which you can camp under the sea. The ocean space habitat is made of stainless steel, vinyl, polyester, and nylon, which makes it a very light but resistant design. This tent can reach the seabed thanks to its weight and is filled with gas to create a completely dry space for two campers. In addition, it has carbon dioxide filters that make the environment completely breathable inside for about 6 hours. The Amazon rainforest is the largest tropical forest in the world. It produces approximately 20% of the world's oxygen and is home to an incredible diversity of plant and animal life. This is a lawn aerating machine. It makes small holes in the ground about 10 centimeters deep to allow the roots to oxygenate and stay healthy. In stadiums, they usually do it a couple of times a year. Or this artistic installation by Johann Bourgeois plays with gravity, centrifugal force, and inertia. This platform generates enough force so that people do not fall despite being in illogical positions that seem impossible. What you are seeing on the screen is known as a blue tornado, and it is basically a small tornado of fire that does not produce any kind of smoke. It was recently discovered in a series of experiments for new alternatives in fuels. The interesting thing about this reaction is that it can be repeated over and over again until it is kept under control in small and closed environments. The blue tornado opens up many possibilities. It could safely clean up oil spills and even create machines that work without emitting any kind of pollution. A wind turbine, also known as a wind generator, is a machine that uses wind energy to generate electricity. And this is how they get up to them to give them maintenance. Inside, there is a kind of elevator. The Andes mountain range is the longest mountain chain in the world and extends approximately 7,000 kilometers along the western coast of South America. French is the official language in more than 29 countries around the world, in many countries in Africa and in other places like Luxembourg or Monaco, among others. Sloths are known for their slow lifestyle, but what is even more surprising is that they only come down from the trees once a week to relieve themselves. This infrequent behavior is a way to avoid predators and conserve energy. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe so you don't miss more interesting content. Leave your comments and click on any of these videos. See you next time.